Hello and welcome to this Warno 2v2 game played on Taler Duel. It's called Duel because it's supposed to be a 1v1 map, but there it is. Today we've got Insurgent playing as 8th US and Zsadok playing as Do Ryan, which I enjoy a lot actually. It's a pretty fun div. And they're going up against AntZGS playing as 6Y and Eclipse playing as 76Y. So we'll go through the deck reviews, then we'll talk about the map, the matchup, the deployments, and the game. And as always, timestamps in the description. Right, so this is the deck review. And as always with these 2v2 deck reviews, what matters is synergy. Synergy with your teammate. I believe this was just a lobby game, and it can be hard to synergize with random people in lobby games. But yeah, I think 8th US and Do Ryan as a combination isn't actually that bad. So you've got a div that can go late, and he's brought a lot of M1A1 Abrams there. And you've got a div that, is more of like an early to mid game thing, which is when 8th is quite weak. When they're, you get M60s, but can be quite hard to transition, and 8th's infantry isn't actually that great, whereas Do Ryan's is... it's not great either, but it's very cost efficient. And considering they're playing on Taler Duel, which is a 1v1 map in a 2v2, spamming out the artillery can be a good idea. What I will say is 6 Eyehawks is probably a bit much, given that your teammate also has 3 Eyehawks, so that's 9 Eyehawks. So probably get rid of that. As always, we won't go through every single thing. But yeah, so this got buffed in the last patch. Towed AA guns in general have been nerfed, so they do 50% damage against infantry now. But this had its availability go up, and it's actually really good. As you can see, it is better than a Maxon. For only 5 points more, it does a lot more damage. Almost twice the damage. Does fire a couple fewer rounds, right? But yeah, now that it's 9 availability, it's really good. So if you, that's great. Just get rid of an Eyehawk and put that in, and then bring this. That's probably the only thing to add. I mean, in terms of CVs, 2, 4, 6, plus 5, 7, right? So that's 13 CVs is probably a bit much. But if you're going into a lobby with random people, you kind of have to take care of yourself, right? You can't. I don't know if these two were friends or what. Yeah, I mean, what else is there to say? So in team games, the alpha jets aren't that useful. So in 1v1, you can sort of buy all 3 of these at once and send them out. Woohoo. This thing's really a lot better now. Although the main issue with it is the reload time. Because I believe it drops from like medium altitude or high altitude, I think. And the bombs drop a lot faster now, but the main reload time, the main problem is the 5-minute reload, right? So yeah, I mean, this thing is kind of bad, but you could use it against helos. Yeah, it's rough because like this is your only bomber, but it's a pain. So you want to be bringing the Gazelle cannons, because if you do get an enemy infantry breakthrough, well, you can't use your planes against them, so you need the Gazelle cannons. So you want those at 2 there, and we need to fit those in somewhere, so we need to lose 3 AP somewhere. 4 cards of supply is a lot. I appreciate there's a lot of artillery here, but I should probably do the maths on this actually, so I'll get the calculator up. Just bear with me a second. So, right. It has to aim, and it has to actually shoot, which takes about 20 seconds to fire, and it has to reload, right? So you've got 180 plus 25 plus 20, right? So that's 225 seconds, okay? So 40 minutes times by 60 to get seconds, divided by 225 means you can fire about 11 volleys in a game, times it by 720. So that's 7,680 supply if you buy it right at the start and use it for the whole game. Right? Then you gotta times it by 2. Okay, 15k. These use like a lot less. So 15k is the fob. So you don't need 3 cards of supply, because, so I would get rid of this, right? And then there you go, now you got 2 AP. The MMG team's very meta, very meta. I did a big video on that, right? I'm quite surprised that he's not bringing reservist sappers. So these, like, they're not actually that good at running up to people and killing them with the thing. But the thing is that they've also got AT, so it's actually a very cost-effective unit. So I'm quite surprised he's not bringing that. But if you actually want to run up to people and kill them, you got to use these guys. He's brought it in this thing, which has 3 armor and smoke for 25 points. I guess it is cost effective. Just depends if you want your sappers to get there super fast or not. You know, 90 difference between 90 and 75 isn't actually that big, so you know you could go for this if you want. But yeah, what would you? So yeah, probably these guys should be replaced with the reservist sappers because so you get 2 less availability, right? But the reservist LRAC are kind of bad because the 3 SMGs make them useless at max range because they've actually only got 8 shooty power, whereas the guys on the left have 11 shooty power because the machine guns too, right? And they've got satchels. So, like, you know, you do lose availability, but I think it's a much better take. So there you go. But yeah, we need to find a way to get. This is a mortar for smoke. Fair enough. I mean, 2 of these is a lot, but you know, if you played a long team game on a narrow map, it can work actually. So yeah, you definitely want these. Definitely want these. It's 5 HP. We need 1 AP. So you can start messing with this. I'm pretty sure I bring 2, because, yeah, I mean, it's... Yeah, I mean... You can get rid of some CVs, right? But... Yeah, I mean, I've been there. Over-optimizing the CVs and then losing the game. I've been there. Oh, yeah. So, like, this is 5, 2 availability. Alright, this is 6, 3 availability. It's reservist, but, like, who cares? So there you go, you've got 1 more CV now, right? So, that's 3. Okay. 6. Right, obviously this is cheaper and so on, but, you know, this is 60 points. Which is only 10 points more than that, and it comes with a transport. 6, get rid of that. Now you've got 4 AP. Now you can bring... Because the Gazelle cannon is just so useful if the enemy gets a breakthrough. You don't use it... You can use it offensively at the start. At 2 vet, it does like twice the damage, as you can see, so... And then, yeah, obviously there's 1 AP lost into the void, but I think that's a lot better than... Because like you could get rid of an infantry unit and then you could fill two AP slots, which would be what? A tank one and this, so you could get 3 more CVs or something. Yeah, so hypothetically, if you wanted to, you could get rid of this, and then you've got, you know, 6 CVs, and then more tower, or like, yeah, you could bring this, and then you know, wow, I love CVs, right? But yeah, 6 CVs is usually enough, but then, you know, you don't have to do that last part, but it's just an idea. Anyways, teammate's playing 8th, and his 8th deck looks exactly like mine, so there's not really much to say. It looks almost exactly like mine. What I will say is that, yeah, it's almost identical. You need the CEV. This is something I've realized since the last time I played 8th. You need the CEV. If you go up against a division that's got loads of infantry, you're basically screwed. So the last time I played 8th, I was playing against KDA. Very nice gentleman was playing KDA against me and flaming me. And I just couldn't kill his infantry. Because you don't have that many autocannons and stuff, so you need the CEV, right? So you got to get rid of something to get some CEVs on the go. 3, 4, 5 CVs, so you could get rid of this hypothetically. Alright, but you got to get rid of... I'd get rid of these, and I'd bring the CEV, because... And you can bring it at no vet if you want. I mean, it doesn't make too much difference, but it's just if it gets hit, Because the rate of fire, I mean, it doesn't, you know, it's still going to take ages to shoot. But the main advantage of having the vet up is that it doesn't have smoke. So if it gets hit by an ATGM and it can survive a TOW 2, can't survive an Eric's, but it can survive a TOW 2, then at least it can get away because it won't just be suddenly zero cohesion infinitely. So it can be worth bringing it at 1 vet. But yeah, if you go up against a div with loads of infantry, man, you need the CEV. Anyway, their opponents are playing 6Y, very meta div, and 76Y, which kind of isn't. And, yeah, I don't know if there's much synergy going on here. Basically, you'd want the 6Y player to be doing the artillery, and you'd want the 76Y player to not really be doing the artillery. But, you know, if you want to get stuff done on this div, right, you, like, okay, so you need mortars for smoke, right, and these go super fast, so that's nice. And then, like, you know, 4 noners, okay, and you could use, like, if you just, a lot of people bring mortars for smoke because I tell them to, and then they don't use them for the whole game. I see it cast after cast after cast. I haven't seen this game yet, but you know, if you're just not going to use them, then yeah, basically you want the Grad V, because 2 of these has more DPS than a regular Grad, and you can suppress an area very quickly, and it helps 76Y be a bit more relevant in the late game. But yeah, if you're not going to use this, then just have 4 noners, right? But still, the Grad V is nice, so just something to keep in mind. And then, like, he wants to spam planes, okay. In a big team game, it can make a lot of sense. In a 2v2. So these, they got nerfed against infantry, but they're still really, really good. They had a 50% damage reduction. It's like you can't even tell. They're still really good. So you want that. And, yeah, like, okay, so you want some cheapo ATGMs, which you can use to defend ground. So you want that. Yeah, so 2 for 4 CVs in the whole div. In a 2v2, you can sort of get away with it. You need these at the start. This is the key to winning with 76Y, particularly in 1v1. You open with 1 of these on every road. With, I use the LUAZ-SPG, but you can just have this behind it, and it'll still work, right? And if you got the LUAZ-SPG, then you lose the scratch it, right? So yeah, 1 of these and one of these on every road, and you can get a lot done with that, a lot. So I would be, for starters, don't vet your ATGMs, but I mean, if you want to, right? But I wouldn't be doing that. I'd be down vet that, put the 30mm in. Down vet this, get rid of that, and put in the LUAZ. And so these are 2 AP slots, that's 3, so I can understand the need to bring the CVs in this, but yeah, it's not exactly how I'd build it, but I think we've made a big improvement, basically. I think we've improved things. So okay, so you want to get these out fast, presumably, right? So you can shoot igloos at people at the start. Although, well, you got plenty of forward deployed AA. So, because yeah, this thing's actually okay because it's got mediocre stealth. You can actually put it in a forest. It'll just kill infantry. And they won't be able to see it. It's quite funny actually. Anyway, yeah, I wouldn't bring so many planes, but you know, you do you. And the 6Y player is sort of fairly standard div opening here. I would not bother with this. You want this AA gun to shoot infantry. PKM teams are very, very meta. Most people bring those, but you can get away with just spamming out these grenade launchers against inf if you want. But yeah, these are very meta. And like you want the urns because you get 6 of them at 2 vet, which is crazy, right? So they're just way better. So how can we get some urns in there? This is really good as well. It deals more damage than an autocannon at no vet. For whatever reason, 4 PKTs. It's not as good against vehicles, but apart from that. Anyway, the T55A is really, really good at the start. You want that at 2 vet, right? So get rid of one of these tank cards. Between these, this survives a 30 AP plane missile from the front, and this doesn't. But, you know, it's up to you which one you want. So, yeah, you want to be bringing these. And there was something else. Oh, yeah, we need to get the urn in. So, in a 1v1, you wouldn't need 4 bucks. But in a team game with 76Y, you kind of do, because a 76Y player's not got good AA, so... Honestly, you gotta make some hard sacrifices. What is this, a 1-pointer? So, like, you can always just put the CV next to the, hang on. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, that's too many CVs. There you go, 2 AP, earn, and then you can either bring the rocket to, or you can bring the Escortini, and basically the way you use it is you fire the mega long-range missiles, and then you just piss off, and you can kill stuff quite effectively with that. But yeah, this is a more reliable way of shooting people, because it has many rockets. So that's it for the deck reviews. Now we'll talk about the map, the matchup, the deployments, and the game. And as always, I was going to say thanks for watching. That too, but timestamps in the description. Right, so with that out of the way, as you know from the deck reviews, these guys didn't bring the SPG-9s, right? What you want to do is open SPG-9 on LUAZ-SPG-9 on every road, and then you just, you know, want to get through here, right? And you just send them down every road. There are AMLs on every road, or almost every road, but like, for example, this would die. The UAZ-9 would come, it would kill it, and then Foxtrot would be open, and then you can run a bunch of guys in there. Obviously, you know, there's people coming, but that's something you should be doing if you're playing 76Y. Sadly, he's not done that. The other thing was these guys have a lot of RT, and the 6Y player didn't bring the urns, so no urn opening. And the Do Rhyme player didn't bring the Gazelle Cannon, so no Gazelle Cannon opening. Although that wouldn't work because 76Y gets a bunch of forward deployed AA, so you don't want to do that. Anyway, in terms of the matchups, I think both pairings are like reasonably competitive. They're not like super. Do Rhyme is not super meta, right? 8th and Do Rhyme I've never seen in a tournament before, but it kind of makes sense. You know, 8th is the heavy one, Do Rhyme's the light one. 6Y and 76Y I've seen in tournaments before. 76Y is quite a rare pick, but I pick it quite a bit, and I've won almost every time I picked it. The one time I didn't was in the DEFCON 2 finals, so yeah, oh, was it semi-finals? Semi-finals, so I made it to the semi-finals, right? So anyway, 76Y, it's alright in 2v2. In 1v1, but you got to use the UAZ-SPG-9s at every road. Anyway, in terms of the deployments, I think the 76Y player is on the wrong side. I think the 76Y player wants to fight in this forest, and so that's where they should be. I can sort of understand, okay, there's more towny stuff here, and if you take this side, then you do actually have to cover the open, but, you know, you can set up Metis squads everywhere here because of the distances involved, and then you just get a bunch of guys in the forest, and you just fight it mostly in the forest, because if you get to here, well then, you know, Foxtrot's lost, right? If you're here, well then they can't get back into Foxtrot without clearing you out of this entire forest, so that's what I'd be doing. But people don't really like fighting here. I mean, for starters, you got this issue that, you know, there's a few gaps here, and then when you come up here, you can get spotted from some places down here. You see it keeps coming in and out of vision, so you got to be careful. You basically have to, like, thread it, and then, you know. But that's where I'd put him, because instead he's deployed his Mega Blob, consisting of many Iglas and Metis squads, here. And it's like, he's the only one who's airborne. He's got the best airborne forward deployment. 8th has LRS. Do Ryan has no airborne forward deployment. 6Y has no airborne forward deployment, so it's only 76Y. And so he should be helping out his teammate with Metis and stuff, but instead he's sort of just fighting for... Like, this open ground is where 6Y is the strongest. So it doesn't make sense for 76Y to be here, because 6Y wants to be here so that he can use all the tanks to shoot, right? Anyway, it is what it is. At the very least, he's putting a Conkers in here, which is a great place to put a Conkers. Look at that. Then 6Y is giving him a book, which is very nice of him. And he's got a book for himself. And he's brought 4 books, which I think is a good idea. But yeah, like, why is 6Y here? Why isn't it? Why is it that way around? Like 6Y wants this open space, it wants this open space, it wants this open space because of the T64s, right, with the ATGMs. Or at least it wants it more than 76Y does. 76Y wants more sort of contained areas to fight with infantry and, you know, short ranges to use Metis spam. And you know, like this side of the zone is better for 76Y, this side of the zone is better for 6Y. They've done it the wrong way around, basically. I despair. Anyway, I've laboured the point long enough. Switching to their opponent's deployment, we've got Zsadok playing with Durine here. So it's the exact same argument. You want the 8th player here. Yeah, you want surely the Durine player wants to be around here with these close range scrappy tanks, right? With the minimum range 1925. Because that's in range there, right? And the M1A ones, they want to be fighting in this big area where they can move around and stuff, right? And obviously play dodgems with ATGMs for the whole game is a bit of a pain in the neck, but that's the game. And yeah, big open areas for Recon Bradley CFV, right? Big open areas to use your tanks in. Max range tank guns, right? All the 8th US tanks are max range. He didn't bring this CV, which I'm big on these days because of what happened when I didn't bring it and I got overwhelmed by infantry that I just couldn't kill fast enough. So yeah, I'm quite surprised. But the fact of the matter is, if both sides have switched, then it doesn't matter too much. Do you know what I mean? Whereas if one side had picked the way I've suggested, they would have an advantage, but that's not what's happened here. So neither side has the advantage, so it's basically fine. So yeah, LRS coming to here. I'm surprised he's only opened with 1 LRS. Maybe he fears the LUAZ-SPG 9s. Bradley CFV, some scouts, and then Stinger. Dragon 2s are nice around here, to be honest. They're nice on this map in general. Like, Dragons and Metis are quite nice on this map in general. But yeah, Dragon 2s do work well around here. Mech Rifles Law with a Dragon. Pivards. Rangers Dragon, Stinger. M60. M1 Abrahams. This is Zsadok's FOB, because he's brought a bunch of rocket arty, which honestly makes sense, given it's a 1v1 map. The target saturation is going to be pretty big. Some AML 90s, Reservist Declares. Yeah, I would just put it here. But I mean, there's good as well, I suppose. It's more defensive, I think. But Forest Stealth is the same. But the thing is, you can't. There's nowhere in this forest where you can hide from enemy fire. You will, if they get to here, you're just going to die. Because, yeah, so I can understand going here, actually. Or you go here and then you just drop back behind the building, right, into the space behind the building, and then, you know, back again. So that can work as well. But yeah, what you really want here is an ATGM. So you can shoot down there. Infantry ATGM. We got a CV for Charlie Alpha. Charlie's the +2, so that makes sense. Bunch of crap, basically. So Logi, MMG teams, very meta. Fliegerfaust, Jaeger, Carl Gustav, Maxons, they're still good. Ihawk, Sappers. 2 AMX-13s, the ATGMs. And on the right, a bunch of stuff. 3 MMGs, 2 Fliegerfaust, 2 Maxons, Fox Milan with a Milan 2. That's an interesting spot. Yeah, it was pretty good, actually. Milan 1, and Chasseurs. So, let's cast the game. Right, so they're off, and it's time for me to thank the generous channel joiners, generously joining the channel. They get their names on the screen, they get the videos early, they get members-exclusive videos. One join at the lowest levels with 2,000 views, so if you're feeling bad about your ad block, it's a great way to support the channel. Otherwise, please just like the video. 1 like means that YouTube recommends the video to 10 more people. And if you don't want to do that, please comment. It's sort of a similar thing. Basically, there's like an engagement score, and the more engaged you are, the more the videos are recommended. F-16 dodges the book there. But a second shot will evac it. You see it's lost half its cohesion. So this guy gets here first, but, you know, he brought all tracked stuff, and, you know, these go at 90. And so he could have deployed much more aggressively if he'd brought more wheeled stuff, like the LUAZ-SPG 9. But yeah, you see the AML 90 didn't make it. I assume that's what that is. Yes. Looks like it to me. And, yeah, okay, so fighting... Oh, this is probably going to die. That's too much AA there. Yeah, I don't know, people see these recon healers, and they're just sort of, I need to dive. I don't understand it personally. Like, look, that Stinger can kill it just fine. In fact, he's got a Fliegerfaust here. So, and another one here, so that was... Like, look, that was in range. He spotted it there. This would have been in range. As would this, obviously with the LOS it's a bit of a pain, but... See, I don't feel compelled to just dive helos every time you see... If it's an attack helo and it's killing your guys, that's a different story, but that was not doing that. It was a recon helo. Although, you know, obviously it does have a gun on it. So, this is actually a really nice unit. 30 points for an IFV. It doesn't have smoke, but, you know, it's an autocannon for 30 points. I think it's the cheapest autocannon in the game. You can get, like, the FV432 Radar, but that doesn't come as a transport, right? Also, I believe it's also 30. Anyway, Rangers trying to get in, but the grenade launchers, the BTRDs are very hard to push into, you know. If I was 8th, I'd be playing this a little bit slower. I wouldn't be in such a big hurry, right? The tick's even, obviously, it's going to be a -1 soon, but a -1 is like, the game's going to, you know, you're going to lose in 48 minutes. The game doesn't even last 48 minutes, so you don't have to go so fast, right? Because, you know, 76Y is only going to get weaker. Although, you know, he is against 6Y mainly, right? It's only a couple 76Y units here. So maybe it makes sense. Maybe it makes sense, unlike that, where this 27% accuracy unspeakable one killed the Bradley TOW 2. But yeah, it's tough getting CVs into this zone. This is probably the best place for it on this side. The other thing is you get some smoke mortars and you start smoking it up. Arty coming out quite early, not particularly surprising given the map, right? It's a 1v1 map. Buying 2 at once, though, is not smart because that's 2 minutes income gone. Although, you know, he is ahead, he's taken better trades, but he's just lost a huge amount of momentum there. You know, this is 1 minute's income, this is 1 minute's income, and then he just bought this, which is 1 minute's income. So he's had one frontline unit in 3 minutes. So, you know, against newer players, you're going to be, you know, you're going to be fine. But against better players, you will be punished for mistakes like that. And it's not always immediately obvious why you're losing. It's like, whoa, he's got way more stuff than me. Well, that's where that comes in. Thing is, you know, obviously other people bought ATG, have bought RT, but this is only one piece, which I think is a much better way of doing it. One piece each. Whereas these guys, they're buying loads right now. And, you know, it's going to pay off faster, right? It depends if blue can take advantage of it. But look how much stuff is coming to the middle for blue. And look how much is coming for red. It's one tank compared to one tank and all these units, right? So I wouldn't be trying this at all, really. They die in one hit to Cubs. He has the seed, so I would send the seed out first, potentially in pairs. They're moving after they shoot, which is smart. They're not firing from next to their arty, which is smart. The Nonas, right, are not amazing, but... So 76Y gets the... Look at the vets on these units, they're very highly vetted. That Milan 2, though... But yeah, 2 vet on the grenade launcher is really interesting because it gives it like 70% accuracy. That makes a cool sound. You'll notice they can fire their ATGMs at the same time as the gun. Obviously, that he doesn't have an ATGM target right now, but it is interesting. These guys do have AT, but he was on a move order. Not sure he would have hit that anyway. It's not a very good AT, but... Yeah, I think... You know, if you're against an airborne div, you don't have to push too fast. There's this expectation that, especially if you're in a team game with randoms, they're like, oh, we're losing, and they just quit. But you've got time. You've got time. And, yeah, lots of effort being put into counter battery here. He has put a CV next to his stuff, which is cool. what I'd like to see is that M270 come out at some point, because that'd really do a lot of work in mid. And yeah, it's a shame 76Y, he didn't bring the half-grads. Instead he brought 4 of these, which... I'd rather have 2 half-grads than 2 of those. But yeah, really nice firing angles here, the recon's doing its work. And, you know, they kill infantry very slowly, but if you've got 3 of them firing, then you're going to get him eventually. Like, he makes it, but he has to run away. You do sort of want to move stuff after it shoots, even if only a little bit, like from here to there. You know, from here to there, from here to there, from here to there. Just because the RT, you know, RT is like a sniper rifle, right? You see how narrow that is. And you tend to get RT'd. But, you know, obviously you can't move everything. Something ends up getting RT'd. Sending the Humvee forwards, not quite sure on that. Losing 20 points. The Metis squad is out of ammo. And, he's on defensive, so they're just running away. But yeah, he's got a good flank there. Does need to... So I believe Zsadok has the military police vehicle. And that's pretty useful for... you know, putting next to these guys to make them not crap. It's very useful. It's not expensive either. Anyway, this has done its job, and now it needs to move. It needs to move immediately. If you don't move it, you're going to get RT'd. If the enemy's paying attention, I mean, this should just immediately try and kill that. He's sending a seed out instead, which, yeah, okay, that's smart. Another thing you can do is leave them turned off until you need them, because, I mean, generally what happens is people lose the first one, and then they start doing that. But it depends if you know your divisional matchups or not. A lot of divs don't get seed, but 76Y gets one of the best seed in the game. In fact, well, I suppose the Prowler's probably better, but this is one of the best. And yeah, what Red should be doing is, as things shoot, they should... Wait, so the Fliegerfaust fires F1 click, right? And then you know what to RT. But yeah, you see the RT party has certainly starty over here. And that's just because it's 1v1 map, so there's nowhere to hide. If I was the Do Ryan player, you know, he's got to the edge of the town. Is he going to smoke? No, everything just misses him, right? Just end up going down there. I'd be getting that M270 out. Because he's got the fob, right? At this point, you know, it's been 9 minutes. He's got a stable position. This guy's just sitting here, basically. I'd be buying the fob. Because, yeah, well, obviously, once the front line stabilizes, then, yeah, you start buying your RT. I just wouldn't buy it all at once. And these guys bought it too early, I think. I mean, if he hadn't bought that, you know, Blue wouldn't be in here at all. And Zsadok wouldn't have taken this, which is, you know, it's a very important part of the map. If you find these two zones, this is incredibly important. As is this, and he's got both of them. As is this, right? So all those middle zones were lost. And, you know, would he have held it if he'd not spent 200 points on artillery at that moment? It's hard to say. What could he have got, you know? BMP2D with... Yeah, so it's like 100 points with the unit. He could have had 2 of these. If there was one here, would he have won that fight? If there was one here, would he have won that fight? I mean, obviously, if he sent one in now, he wouldn't, but but that wasn't what was going on. Anyway, going pretty well for Blue, I think. I mean, Red's sort of +1, but, like, Blue's getting a lot of kills. All their tanks are firing. Sadly, you know, the kills don't come up here, but... needs to smoke on all 3 tanks, yeah. Live to fight another day. But yeah, he's the Metis is very good against these things because this one shot's 3 armor and that's 3 armor. Seed plane coming back. But yeah, this thing's not bad, you know. I mean, it's basically an M109. Reload time's high. I thought it is at Novet, right? The reservist trait doesn't affect artillery accuracy. So it's like -5% accuracy, but it doesn't affect artillery accuracy, so that's worth keeping in mind. These M110s are doing a good job against this T64. I think he might have got that there. Yeah, so he didn't fire them both at the same time. If he had, if it's a tank, especially one with 3 top armor, you want both of these to fire at the same time. Nothing's really happening over here, but that's because neither div's really suited to this. They both basically want to be fighting in the open, and that's what they're doing. You need to, yeah, he moves after he shoots, good. Yeah. So Ihawk's fired, okay, now you turn it off and move it. Or, well, okay, you wait for him to come back and you shoot him again. Now you turn it off and move it. Because you're going to get seeded or artilleried. You know, especially after what happened last time. Okay, now he's... How's he started? Oh, because this must have resupplied him. Yeah, it's very powerful. This needs to evac, don't go over the enemy cubs. Oh, he gets hit. I think he survives though. But yeah, that Ihawk, man, it's got to move. It's going to die. These have been spotted. He's got some nice tanks here. That nice little blob here to cut off that open area. 2 more bucks purchased. Sort of back to that combined arms thing. You want to buy 1 and a regular unit, and then next tick buy another 1 and another regular unit. I mean, obviously it's not always possible. Sometimes you really do just need 2 cubs or bucks, as the case may be. But what he really wants right here is a couple BMP 1s, right? So imagine if he just bought 1 of these and 2 BMP 1s. Then this would be going a lot better. He'd have 2 more. He'd have 4 more units here. 2 BMP 1s and 2 infantry. So, you know, something to keep in mind. But yeah, it's hard to... I'm guilty of that as well. I'm like, oh, I need a mortar, and I just hold shift and buy 6 smoke mortars. Towards the end of the game, yeah, after the first few minutes, that becomes more common. So yeah, I'm not perfect myself, but, you know, we got to point out the mistakes, otherwise what else is there to talk about? M1A1 goes down there to the double T64 BV. And, yeah, this is the problem. Well, I suppose neither of these divs gets a huge amount of tanks, but certainly 8th gets, can get fewer. Like, mostly gets fewer heavy tanks. But yeah, the Ihawk, well, it doesn't get hit. It's quite surprising. The 3 Fliegerfaust all miss. That's not surprising. LGBT's out. Was probably going to die for that. Because, yeah, for some reason, this 8th player hasn't got any Ihawks up. What? Oh, I see, it's that one. The 176Y gets 2 racks of missiles, and so it would definitely die there. Yeah, no Ihawk. I wouldn't buy an Ihawk right now, though. But yeah, looks like Red's getting in. Pivads isn't going to be able to stop him there. And what he needs to do is swing this LRM around to here, I suppose. But yeah, that's not what just happened. And yeah, you know, if you're on this side of the map, don't be afraid to just send some units to help your friends, right? It is a team game at the end of the day. You know, even just a Gazelle Hot 2 here, or a Recon Helo. Planes and helis are generally the better way of doing it, because then you can swing them around to your side. Whereas infantry, if you buy, it's just going to sit there, generally. You know. So you want to fire 6 and then move it. The only problem is because he's put a supplier next to it, which is fair enough. We can't count to 6. There you go, smoking for CV. That's what we like to see. Some teamwork. Look at that. It's not his CV, but yeah, and he gets that one. I guess he probably thought the enemy CV was there, so it made sense to do that at the time. Once this gets in here, he will see the enemy CV, if this is to be believed. It might just be on... Yeah, he's going to start shooting it. Yeah. So there you go, yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff. So he comes out to whack it. Yeah, cool beans. Anyway, some smoking going on here. Big cross-the-map attack for ATGM healers. He gets the CV, gets the BMP. It's going to be GG. Oh, actually, no, it's not, because he's going to get a side shot now. No, it's because of this. This is a big problem. Also, yes, he's probably... Whoa, it didn't drop. That's very frustrating. You know, because of the smoke and stuff. You gotta, like, target the ground instead of relying on the right click. Sometimes it just doesn't work. bombs they're shooting at. Okay, I mean, it is cluster, but it's doing something, I guess. Like, it is actually hurting them. It's just not an efficient way of doing it, but, you know, if your RT's busy, if your other RT's busy, which it is, because it's shooting over here or something. So, he's coming back in. What? That was weird. He did click there. It's because it had already dropped a couple of its bombs, I think. That does tend to mess it up a bit. So yeah, it looks like we're doing a bit of a switcheroo here. But yeah, the hog is good investment. There's no AA here. And yeah, Rangers. I think Blue should be able to take this back. I don't know. It depends what happens to this guy. If he gets side shot, then it's lights out, isn't it? Big plane attack there. Mirage goes down. Not particularly surprising. The BMDs could have been brought to here, right? And then they could fire their ATGMs. Obviously, if you bring it up to here, the tank shoots you. And maybe it still will, but you could at least put it back here and fire your ATGMs at people. But yeah, it can be hard. Like, so if Red loses this zone, it's really hard to get back in because there's just a big open space here. TRM though, why isn't he bombing where the CV is? I'm quite surprised. Like, why there? Why not here? Why a TRM? Why not the regular bomber? Anyway, looks like Red's getting back in. The Abrams has to retreat. It's been marked for artillery as well. These are empty. They've got 1 round and 2 rounds. It's getting some. So this was actually with those. Hawks fired. You got to move it. So yeah, that was. I see you split the volley there, and that makes sense because well they're dead, aren't they? So good stuff. So the Abrams gets in. I'm loving the smoke. Spoke about in the deck review how a lot of people, they bring smoke mortars because they've seen a Hippie video, and I always say bring a smoke mortar, right? And then they just don't use it. At which point there's no point in bringing it. You might as well just up-vet in something that you were going to use, right? Maybe up-vet the howitzers. But yeah, it is very, very, very useful to have. Like, you see how it just completely changes the dynamic. This is a big open field. Well, now it's not, and I can get in, you know? They have the outer buildings, I can't get in. With smoke, I can get in, you know? The town was too hard to take all at once, so he smoked, and then he got his infantry in, and then it came around. Like, it's huge. There's still quite a few players who, like even at the very top of the game, and they're just like, smoke is cheese, I won't use smoke. And, well, alright, lose then. That's your personal choice. I mean, smoke is probably the most realistic part of this game. Every single attack is just smoke absolutely everywhere because people don't like getting shot. It's very, very realistic for smoke. So it's not really cheese, it's very realistic. The only dumb part is like, so when you get in smoke, the visibility distance is so small that it's very hard to see where the enemy is. So if you play against somebody good, whoa, they will, he's loaded that up. They will just run it around in circles, and it'll be very hard to kill it, and they'll get a lot of points that way. And that is cheese, but, you know, that's part of the game as well, I guess. I mean, you know, there's lots of cheese, you just kind of gotta... Winning's winning, everything else is cope. Obviously, if you actually cheat, that's something entirely different. But yeah, I mean, using the... So, yeah, it is cluster, but it still damages the infantry, suppresses the infantry a lot as well, and they've got nowhere to hide, so it's a good thing to do. I don't understand why he keeps bombing this. So from this line, you know where the CV is, and presumably it's going to be in the big cloud of smoke, so why doesn't he bomb that? Why isn't he doing that? Why is he bombing these random outer units? So it's like second time we've seen him do it. Anyway, AntZGS has come up here. The many books have missed. LGBT probably going to get a double kill there. Okay, never mind. But yeah, I mean, look, he's got all this supply. but gets another hit. They need to move these after they shoot, you know, especially like this double one. That would be such a great target for the LRMs. But yeah, so +2 to blue now. +1 because of this, and +1 because of this. And it looks like Zsadok's going to take this. I mean, this is certainly... Now that he's actually in the town, he's actually very strong here because, well, you could just flood it with people. I do disagree with some of his takes. Well, namely just this one. Like, you want the... either get another card of the reservists with the FR1, although I think you only get one card, or get the reservist sappers, because they are better, and they're only 5 points more. That's a good kill. That's worth it, man. I mean, that is so worth it. Although double bombing the same target probably isn't, but Insurgent is just moving his mortars into it, in the spirit of fair play. Yeah, so... That's a good kill. You know, if you can get somebody's arty, I'm pretty sure he got out as well. To be honest, why doesn't he have an Eyehawk here? He's been playing for 23 minutes and he hasn't bought a single Eyehawk, and people just keep blowing him up. His teammates got plenty, but you know they're over here. So yeah, at this point, you know, you want to move these to there and then get them through here, you know, and then like sit on this road or sit on this road. You know, move up the recon. Maybe move it across, although you've already got one here, I suppose. Cluster was probably going to get a triple kill. I guess a double kill. And, yeah, you know, taking some losses, but there are a lot of units to micro. You can evac this as soon as it looses the missile. If you start right-clicking other things, it does miss, but if you just evac it, it actually does alright. You don't have to wait until it hits. You can just press evac. It's not like Broken Arrow or Real Life where you have to like point towards where the missile's going to hit. You don't have to do that. But yeah, look, I mean, it's cluster, but they're all low cohesion from that, and then they lose the fight because if you're low cohesion, it's very, very important. Mind the way. I am. So just believe me when oh no, you can see it. Accuracy reduced by 75%. So from the accuracy alone, you're already doing 25% of your original damage. And it increases the reload time. And it reduces, like, you know, it increases the aim time and reduces the movement speed. But, so if you think about it, so you're at 25%, and then you also reload slower by 40%. Which means, you know, you're looking at like, you know, 20%, 15% of your original damage, something like that on low cohesion. Because both of those things stack. So cohesion is very, very important. And that's why no-vet units are so bad, because they take like 8 minutes to... I must have just missed slightly. He needs to give these orders to attack. Yeah, I think he has. Yeah. Anyway, so this is sorted. Insurgents back in here. These guys are crowded a little blob. The LRMs, if they wanted to, could really do a number on this. And Red, how does he get back in? Like, losing this side is really rough. It's very, very difficult to get back in. Anyway, I guess he's probably going for the mutt. Yeah, I'm liking the smoke. I think it's good. I think it's smart. Especially when the map's so small, you got to do something to get some more out of the map. Give yourself some extra cover. And imagine if 76Y, instead of bringing 4 Noners, imagine if 2 of them were the half-grads. Right? The double half-grad is very potent. So he thought it was there, I guess. I'm not sure what he was thinking, actually. I mean, presumably it's going to be in the smoke, right? And that's actually a NATO supply. That's one of the ones he stole before. This is not going to work out because the mech rifle's dragon are going to side shot him. Okay, so he turns and 2 hits and he's stunned. I wonder how different the game would be if it was 3 hits and then you're stunned. To be honest, it'd probably make divs with bad tanks useless. Just be heavy tank meta again, I guess. It's interesting how that, because then you'd have to basically increase the HP of ATGM teams, because if they're always going to get shot at, you know, yeah, it makes you think. Anyway, I get the impression that the game's not going to undergo any more significant changes. They've said this thing about this artillery rework, and they said it ages ago, and we've seen absolutely no evidence of that happening, so I am not convinced it's happening. I mean, presumably they have to do it at some point because they promised it, but I get the impression that, you know, big changes is a Warno 2 thing. Anyway, this guy's, yeah, double max in there, and this thing with the 50 cal. Max is basically just 450 cars, but yeah, I mean the planes, you know, he's getting things done with them. It's just, you know, imagine if all of, because that's, you know, imagine if you just had 8 more BMP2s and infantry here, you know, BMD2s. So CV was there, but it died, I guess, or it moved out. No, it moved out. Okay. But yeah, he's bringing up some more Maxes. I think he's ran out of Eyehawks, to be honest, because they all kept getting hit by the seed. Didn't do a good job of toggling the Eyehawks. His teammate never bought any, which is really weird. And then, yeah, it's only Flieger Faust. Honestly, I would be doing some teamwork if I was Insurgent. I'd just send, like, 3 Stingers here, and then every time these guys fly over, there's a reasonable chance that they will die, and it's a pretty good investment. Because they're all bombing such a small area. Because, like, Flieger Faust really are crap, man. Well, okay, they're actually not that bad against helicopters, but against planes, they're very bad. Look at the range against planes, it's terrible. I believe this shows the helicopter range, yes. So, +1 to blue. The red show no signs of giving up. Gets a CV there for his troubles. Not sure how he saw that. Maybe there was somebody... Yeah, like, oh, this probably... So, I'm not sure, really. So... Yeah, sending something in to check stuff out, it's very intelligent. Like, this guy, yeah, he should be coming up here and then sitting here, and then they can't resupply down this road. And if you're worried about getting shot, you put him, like, there, maybe. Or... Well, yeah, it's kind of hard, but, like, there would obviously be optimal. Because, yeah, why not? Why not come take this? If you come take this, then blue can get in this zone. But I think both players are not really teamworking as much as they could, right? Because, yeah, you've taken this, right? And if you're blue, you're not, like, there's nothing here. So there's no point just going over there. Obviously, he still needs to sort this out. He is getting pushed out. But the idea is then you come swing around and you take all this and you sort of work sideways, right? You've made a breakthrough and then you start rolling the flank. That's realistic, right? But, yeah, the Fliegerfaust are really struggling against these planes. Not sure what to say. He's routed out of the zone. So this is the issue with smoking, and people will just run infantry in, as they should, and then, you know, stuff like that starts happening. I gotta tell you, the 76Y plane train is certainly going somewhere. Not sure what the plan was there. Yeah. So if red takes this, blue's actually still on a +1. So red needs this as well. And it's very hard to get back in here, because first you've got to clean all this out, so you can actually get in. And then, it's like a very narrow area, so to get the rest, you have to, like, move up from this narrow area into this wide area where everybody's shooting at you. So, it is... Why does it keep doing that? It's very strange. Like, what's the plan? We sent the first one, it didn't do anything, right? This is out of ammo, so we can't see it. They're getting evac'd. Insurgent still hasn't bought an Eyehawk. Just doesn't wanna let his friend die to planes. So that goes down there. Oh, I see. He wants to bring... Okay, never mind. He evac'd. Yeah, I mean, red can still sort this out. There's not a lot of infantry left here. And obviously 76Y tends not to run out of infantry. This didn't have a target. But yeah, imagine if he had the double half-grad. And yeah, if there's no targets, don't just like randomly fly over the enemy. You know, there's targets here maybe. Because now that's gone for 6 minutes. Like, what's the plan here? That's a terrible idea. Yeah, the books one-shot the Mirage 3s, but this is not making it in there. I mean, it's like, that is 0% chance of making it in there. And even if it did, that's the enemy spawn, so, more or less. So, yeah, you're gonna get pushed out. I think imagine if he'd just put that here and just brought it in here, well then he'd be in this zone. So, obviously there's a CV here, but that was a good hit. I believe that got a tank there. And yeah, still no Eyehawks. Because in the deck review he had Eyehawks, and he's just not bought a single Eyehawk. He just sits there getting hit by planes constantly and has literally 0 AA. Not a single Stinger, not a single Pivads, not a single Eyehawk. I mean, it's bizarre because he's like smoke mortaring and stuff, right? So he clearly knows how to play the game. So like, what? Why not buy some Eyehawks? That's pretty unlucky to get double hit, but these do have high accuracy. 60% at max range, and that was well within max range, so that would have been closer to 80%, so it's not actually that unlucky for that to happen. There we go. Eyehawks perch. Oh, these are also Zsadok's Eyehawks. Oh, because he had 2 cards, right? So he gets 6. So, yeah, has he run out of infantry? Anyway, the tick stopped because Blue's lost this, right? So, and it's only 3 points difference. So yeah, Red, he's still in the game. I mean, this is obviously a very precarious position. He needs to get some more infantry in there. And then, yeah, if you're Blue, like this, yeah, you should have one here, you should have one here, you should have one here. Or at least a recon there, because then you can see everybody coming in. Get a few infantry in here and move them through this forest. I'm getting the impression... yeah, okay, so he's still got infantry. Although the fact that he's just bought 4 HP recon means that probably doesn't have too much infantry, if that's what he's sending in. Here we go. Wow, he bought some AA. He bought some Pivads. He's got the Eyehawks in his deck. Deck review watchers will know. But for some reason, he just doesn't want to do it. So, gets a kill on an ASF there, but, you know, he's losing his tanks and stuff. Although the enemy CV here has died. Yeah, if he keeps flying over these Pivads, he's going to lose his planes. Like, where's this going? Maybe he'll land on the fob. Oh. The actual amount of damage those do if they hit stuff is very, very... It's like the splash range is basically infinitesimally small. It's very, very hard to get them to actually hit stuff. They land right next to things and not do anything. It's just depressing, really. They should do quite a bit, I think. I think it makes for some funny moments. It is what it is. So, yeah, flying the gauntlet again. I don't really get this. Like, that didn't really accomplish much. You're near the enemy spawn. He's got bucks. He's got scratchets. He's got igglers. I just wouldn't bother. But you don't have to buy that. You could just buy something else, right? Or if you own it, you gotta use it. Well, you don't. Resist the urge to feed your units. Anyway, presumably this is dead now. That's an M110, isn't it? You can tell because the line is longer and how much boom it's making. But so this guy does get smoked, so he can throw smoke there and sit in the zone for another few seconds before the RT round comes and kills him. Eyehawk's getting sneeded again. This one's out of ammo. This one's dead. This one missed. So yeah, you had to leave there. Inf's coming in though now, so that's good. That's smoking for CV. But yeah, I mean, so what he should be doing is... so I'm not sure what happened to that Jaeger card, Gustav. I believe he said it this way. But yeah, just get a unit in here. You're up to here, so you can get up to here, get around, kill this, come over here and just sit in this building. Well, now what? They can't come down here. You kill this, and now this whole side of the zone is yours, and you can just get in there and do what you want. Has this guy bought any Eyehawks yet? Wow! The 36-minute IHawk! There it is! Maybe he did have one earlier and it died or something, I don't know. It's good to see an IHawk. Because, yeah, they one-shot the MiG-21 BIS cluster, right? So that's pretty big. That's a pretty big deal. It's a 240-point unit. Stop stuff like that from happening, right? But yeah, they've still got CVs because they had them next to the artillery, right? So here's one. So red's back in, but I mean, this is not looking good for red at all. There's a lot of blue stuff here. You can't really bring it to bear though, but you know, like the AA guns, you want, you know, one here, get one up to there maybe. Well, actually, then you get shot. But yeah, you can slowly march them forwards. I guess he is doing so. A lot of these guys, what you can do is like give them shift attack move orders here and here, and then they'll go through the town trying to find places where they can shoot through. It's a lot easier than trying to fiddle around with the LOS, but if the gap's narrow enough, in the time it takes them to decelerate, they'll go past it and they won't notice. Like, they won't reverse and sort it out. Anyway, you gotta stop smoking now, because the enemy infantry runs in, and then next time you send somebody in, it dies, so you gotta be careful there. But yeah, I mean, it's certainly, I think, red had the advantage. I think 76Y is better than Durine. 6Y is better than 8th US. And, you know, they get the lot. They get the Cubs. I suppose the other guys get the IHawks. M1A ones definitely beat T64s. Like, late game, 8th probably beat 6Y, but 6Y's got this really nice early game. Because of the T55s, which he didn't bring, and the urns, which he didn't bring. But okay, so this is the sort of the thing I'm talking about. But you do need to like send infantry in here and clear this out, basically, right? Rangers Dragon in there, you know. I think he might be out of infantry though. Like, look, they're just spamming ITOs and stuff. There's only 2 minutes left, so that does make sense. Anyway, good LRM volleys there. So this is probably going to kill that. Maybe we might get away. Ooh, one of them goes down. Yeah, it looks like it. If that had landed there, then you would have got him, but... Levy. Anyway, so he's, you know, smoking his CV. He's got 2 in the zone, though, so... Just being careful, I suppose. Because, yeah, the T55A Spets Grupper A opener, very, very strong. You can also do funny heli rushes with 6th. In a 2v2, those are less useful because you tends to be, you know, somebody's got AA, and then first tick 2 jets come out instead of 1, so you gotta be careful. Got a bailed out Maxon there. Maxon going toe to toe with the BMD3. It's not going so well. But yeah, it says bailed out, but if you look, they're still here. And yeah, it looks like blue's gonna clutch it. It's a pretty close game, all things considered. But yeah, blue had the better arty, which is, you know, surprising given that it's NATO versus PACT. But the Durine double M270 was just pretty powerful gameplay. But yeah, I think it's just a shame that, you know, blue didn't come to here and like, because if you get, well, these guys aren't getting in, right? And you've got the line secured, and then you just come clear this out, and then you take this, right? And then you own a good half of the zone, right? So he did still have infantry, so there's no excuse, really. Look at this, look how many he had. He's still coming, he's not been spending it as income. This is very bad. It's very, very bad behaviour. Anyway, that's like 4 minutes income there, man. Anyway, they still won, right? So, this is Zsadok, rank 158. Insurgent, rank 1430. AntZGS, rank 326. I played against him, actually. And Eclipse, rank 1215. But look, 1400 multiplayer. So these guys tend not to play ranked, basically. I mean, they've all got a lot of games. In fact, Zadok's like 1,000 down. And he had the least deaths, or second least deaths. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching that game. And I'll see you in the next one, GG.